This is my review on my 6-week programme. I'm going to be talking about flexibility, muscular endurance with muscular strength and speed, and my overall conclusion about how my client felt during the 6-week programme. We did flexibility training to start off the 6-week programme. This consisted of P&F stretching because this made the muscles more pliable whilst doing exercise. The client sometimes found this very boring because there's not a lot you could do with stretching, so they did not put a lot of effort into this, which in the first couple of weeks, but got more motivated through the 3rd, 4th and 5th week and 6th, so that became better. We did sit and reach tests with them each week so they could manage their progress, and their attitude was very good with this because they liked to see how much they'd improved on each one. Before each session we stretched the main parts of the quadriceps, calves, hamstrings, chest and all them parts. The positive about this is that the client could go home and practice this type of training when they get home because it's simple and easy to do and you can do it almost anywhere. As I said before, the motivation wasn't very good doing this at the start of the 6-week programme. But now the client got into the 3rd and 4th week, is more comfortable with it, and that's why I think the target's going to be achieved that was set. The amount of attitude that they put into it was poor at the start, as I said before, but it got better throughout. Next is the muscular endurance and muscular strength aspects of the training. We started on both of them with like the 1 rep max and stuff, just so they could get the different techniques right, and with all the weights, because we didn't want them to have a larger risk of injury. They were very enthusiastic about using the weights because it's something that they enjoyed and felt comfortable doing. We started off in the first couple of weeks doing about 40% of their 1 rep max, and eventually moved up to 80%. The reason we didn't use heavy weights to start off is not because the client couldn't cope with it, it's just because we wanted to make sure the technique was perfect so there was less risk of injury. When we eventually got to the 4th week, the client's technique was spot on, the weight had been increased, also he got up to lifting 80% as I said before. This is implying that our client's strength had become better, technique and everything had become better, so he really enjoyed this. He was working at a threshold of 3 to 4 whilst doing this in the MHR. And the last one is speed. And the speed part of the training programme means the client can be able to help him with the required sport. On the first week the technique was very poor, which means the motivation was quite down and he didn't want to do it that much because he felt like he couldn't improve it. We were making sure the tests were as accurate as possible by using speed gates. This really helped with his motivation because it was pinpoint accurate and he could see even if he was creasing by little notches. We did the type of training, we did 35-metre sprint tests, which was a sprint over a short distance. The first couple of weeks we were using about 60% of all we've got, and then this was not good enough, so when we got to the 3rd and 4th week the client was even more motivated to get better, so we were 90 to 100% because we were sprinting. So it's most effective as possible. My overall conclusion is that my client is planning on getting to the county level of gymnastics, so the flexibility will help them and they can do this type of training at home. Also the speed is for when they're doing a tumble, so when they're running across the mat they've got everything they needed to do, and in further time when they become older they can still use the stretching to become as pliable as possible.